Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us for another conversation on Crystal One-on-One. We are on location at La Casita Restaurant and Lounge, which happens to be a lovely green spot along in Tinder 2 Road. So do check it out. My guest today, I am humbled to have him on the show. He is a multi-award winning actor, comedian, producer, director, veteran radio personality. We're talking the founder of AfriTalent, artistic director of Bat Valley Theatre, and so much more. I do have Abi Mukiibi Nkaaga joining me on the show today.
Thank you, Crystal. Nice to be here.
It's nice to see you again, since we've been working together quite a bit of recent.
Yeah, of recent.
How are you doing?
Lovely, bit tight. But I'm happy. I'm alive.
I don't know how you do it. Honestly, every time you tell me how your day runs, I'm like, have you come up with some secret formula where you fit like another 5 hours into your day? Like, how do you do it?
It's tight, but normally it's passion. I love what I do. And when you love what you do, you don't normally feel your...
so it doesn't feel like it's stress.
It's stress. Only that it does tire you at one time.
Exactly.
And deep in your heart, you really feel the strain. But I love what I do. I love what I do, everything, from radio, from television,
exactly, because you're also the owner of Delta TV, and you present on
and to acting. The three disciplines, I love them. And I really have a big passion for them. So
I think that is actually reflected in your work. We see it.
Yeah. Everything that I do, it comes from the heart. It's deep within me. And it's something I've loved doing. Just before my father died some 16 years ago, but just before he died, he came to me and said, I'm happy for you for two things. When you were 5 years old, you told me you want to be a film star.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm happy that you did achieve it. And then secondly, you always told me you'd build a double-storied house while you were a young boy, and I'm happy you achieved it. So that's what he told me. And I said, did I tell you that? He said, yeah. Well, when you were still a young guy, you used to say, Dad, nja kuzimba kalina, nja kuzimba nyumba ya kalina. Ate nze ngenda kuba film star. And those two things, I'm happy. I know he purposely came to tell me those two things, and he said, I'm gone. I died some months, some years later.
You know, I think most people yearn for that from their parents. Some people never get to hear that. Do you remember saying these things?
I don't. But he came and told me those things. On the contrary, my father wanted me to be an engineer because he was an engineer. And I just didn't love the stuff. I just didn't love the stuff. So that coming from him, I actually have a small funny story. It's like he wants me to do engineering. After senior 6, I get admitted in university, MDD.
Yes.
Guy's not happy with it, so he pushes me off to the US to push some course there, and I'm there, I'm not happy. And
you're doing the engineering he wanted?
And I didn't even try. But I talked to the late Professor Mbowa, and told her, because Professor Mbowa had seen me acting during my school days, and she was like, I need you people to come to the university and push this course, because everybody that we teach music, dance and drama comes because it is a course that has been given to them to come to Makerere, but not because they want.
It was considered like, okay, you failed to get something else and you get MDD.
After teaching them and they go out, nobody pushes what we teach them. I want you to come. So I just contacted her and she said yes. I said, please press for a dead year. And she did. Then she said, after this, you come back. I said, yes. She applied, went through the normal processes. And, I just flew back from the US and went straight to university. And my mom knew.
Bless mothers. They're always in your corner.
And my dad,
your dad didn't
know.
Did he think you were still in the US?
Yes, until I got a stark realization. One Sunday, I'm in my room in Lumumba, then there's ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Then you know that no more Lumumba. Open if you want. Then the guy kisses you and the old man is standing there. And he said these words, Wandi yogedde, notayinona sente zange. the door, he walked out. I rushed. Daddy, the guy just drove his car and went away. Mom came and said, you know, this and this and this and this. And said, I know. The guy just came. She said, I just came to apologize. I could not hide it anymore from him.
So she's the one who broke.
He said, yeah, I could not hide it anymore. I felt guilty. I said, no, it's okay. But then finally on graduation, the guy calls and says, no, I moved. All that time, I didn't go back home.
So you stayed away the entire time? Then
at graduation, the guy says, I'm coming. When he says, we can have the graduation party at my home. I said, okay. So we went home. And then he said, parents, if your child wants something, support them. You know?
That's amazing because, man, many parents were stubborn. Yeah. They would even hold a grudge for 10 years.
Yeah, no. He forgave me and life moved on. Fortunately, everything worked well and we moved on.
Do you feel like that forgiveness and that kind of validation he gave you also helped you thrive?
No, it pushed me so much more because I wanted to succeed in whatever I did, such that I would show him that, yes, you wanted this, but I think I chose this, and this is what I am. And out of that, it makes you go crazy at times. Crystal, I work. I love work. It's just, it's like I said, it's apart from, I don't know, everybody complains.
You know what's so interesting? People, when they think of workaholics, they think of, I feel like, different kinds of careers that someone is a workaholic in. They don't realize that in the arts, for you to do well, you actually do have to be a workaholic.
Because...
But you're next level, huh?
Because in the arts, for everything that you do, you have to prep. And
exactly.
prepping takes time. You can't. Radio wants prep. Television wants prep. Theater wants rehearsals. You either rehearse or flop. You either prep or flop. It's as simple as that. There's no shortcut. I always tell the kids I teach theater, radio, and television. It's either you prep or go back home.
Yeah.
In rehearsals, I treasure rehearsals much more than a show, because in a show I can create as many crystals as I want, so that if the original crystal does not come, I can use the standby crystal. I can create as many that I want. So, and it's either you turn up for a rehearsal or you're a no-go for me as I direct a play.
So you're very strict.
You're very strict about that. And in radio, you either do prep with me, or I see your prep script or nothing, or you don't come to work. It's as simple and plain as that. Because kids today think they can just
wing it.
Come and hit it.
I have the talent, that's good enough.
Then they do the bubble gum things. It's bubble gum shows, bubble gum music, but it's like that because there hasn't been enough prep for things to roll out. So there are things that I really treasure, like getting ready. I've been worried about your show ever since you told me. So for all the things I prepped about my life, my work life, my social life, everything, I had to put it in line and say, okay, I move from here to here to here to here. It's something I've got to.
Yes.
Now it becomes part of your daily life. And like I said, everybody complains.
But that's probably why you're able to do as much as you're able to do.
Everybody complains, including my wife, my wife.
You know, I think the last time we met, we were talking about the fact that people, not the last time, but you were saying people are saying that eventually you have to slow down. And it was so interesting because to me, you were like, but I don't see why.
Yeah,
why do I need to slow down?
Why do I slow down? Because they say, you slow down?
So retirement is not for you?
What? No. I'm going to retire eternally when I go to my grave. Why retire now? And I still have the energy. Let me do what I can now. I mean, this business, I'm not slowing down. No, I'm not going into retirement. I just leave one place and go to another.
So you said universities when you wanted to do MDD, but your love for theater started in school. How far back are we talking?
I had an uncle. He died 2 years ago. He was called Mukiibi. He's actually my father's brother. He had an acting group. By then, we were in Ginger. By the way, I grew up in Ginger. I was born in Ginger, grew up in Ginger. And Ginger is another soft place for me. It's a place I love. They were acting in a group called the Ginger Dramatic Society, and they had a role for a young boy called Tondo.
Okay.
So he took me there. They say I was 5 years old then.
Wow.
And I was a young boy. I never stopped ever since then. So after that, I went through the school. I went to Victoria Nile Primary School. I was in the drama club. I went to Nkaaga Primary School. I was in the drama club. Makerere School, I was part of the school band and everything. Caltech Academy, I was there through that. So it just became part of DNA.
It is part of your identity.
And when Mukiibi Ndugwa moved from Jinja to Kampala, I was here. So I automatically went into the Black Pearls and started acting. So when I leave university, I start my own. With the late Katolo Wama, Mariam Ndegire, Ashraf Simogerere.
Yes.
The three of them formed the Diamonds Ensemble, and then I formed the Afri Talent.
Yes. This was 1990?
95.
Oh my goodness. So we're looking at what, almost 30 years?
30 years. 30 years.
Wow. When you started, you know, when you were all friends at that point, did you have any clue what exactly it is you were trying to build?
Yes. We looked at the Black Pearls and the Bakaimbra drum actors, and these were our models, and we said, this is what we said. It took these guys 25 years to get there where they are. It must take us less. And our target was we must be there in 10 years, least.
10?
Most, yeah, 10. We must get there. Fortunately, we've gone to school, we've been educated, we know the craft very well. I mean, these guys did not have the opportunity to get the craft that we have now. So we went out and rolled. And the five of us were still young, energetic then. We rolled out. It was hard, but we finally broke the jinx in less than 10 years.
In less than 10.
And we were there. We were doing the good plays. We scored. We went everywhere, to the US, where we went everywhere. We made the money. And then the money split us.
As happens to so many people.
And then the money split us.
But that was there.
That was there.
Yes. By the end, you had mended.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We had to. Because, you know, like when the money splits you, you all take your different ways. Now, the audience was like, Abby, I will only watch you if we are with Kato. And then Kato, I enjoy you, but you are better with Abby. You see? So at the end of the day, we're actually forced to come back.
You're like
because
a tag team.
Both of us, for the audience was not feeling, and you know, like, it's a lifelong. I met Kato even before we went to university, by the way.
In
Old
high school?
Kampala, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I met him in Old Kampala, we were staying together. His mother had a small charcoal shop, and Kato was there. And that's how we met. I was living at Mukiibi Ndugwa's place opposite. That's how we met. Then we started working through high school. So we create a funny bond, and you just get to this place where everything that you do together is spontaneous. It's just this give and take. Kato says something, I know. If I throw a line at him, I automatically know how he will react. And then, you know, when he throws,
So
he
you
knows.
had that natural
Yes,
chemistry.
he knows when he gives, he knows I will take, give it back. Then he gives, I take. And, you know, pew, pew, until you hit the climax and get off. And then that was us. We grew. Yeah. And
we lost him recently.
we lost him, yeah, lost him. It's
Such
it's
an
a pity.
icon.
It's a pity people didn't. I'm sorry, I'll say this.
Yeah.
People didn't understand Kato until his death. Did not know.
They did not celebrate him until his death?
No, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't know the power he had, the greatness in creativity, the power of an actor, the vast knowledge he had about the arts, and his human heart. He had a heart. He had a heart that I don't have, that many of us don't have, I tell you. No. He was a guy who pushed me in so many things. It was like, you know, he adopted this urban, this rural area attitude of a Muganda boy who doesn't know. By the way, he had one miracle. Kato was one guy who did exams at Makerere in Uganda. Yes.
Seriously?
Yes. He talked to Professor Mbo and said, you guys, I can do this in Uganda. But still take it. So the professor had a problem in explaining to Senate that let him write what he wants, I'll translate, and that was something like that.
Wow.
So he would come and say, every door that we push to get where we are, it was Kato like, Nze kantomerewo. mpogane gwamanya oluzungu ojje. And then he would go in and really speak good things about me. Mbabulira oyo asinga mugezi amanyi mugezi nze se mumuwa omulimu ajja kukola bino abegeno owandiika ebbaluwa otuwadde omulimu. And that's, you know, he got his contracts like that. At times he was a bit knocking atama, but that was him. You go in to I tell you, like, we went for a visa at the UK embassy and they're like, my name is Katolu Wama. I'm the Michael Jackson of Uganda. I'm going to visit your country called Britain. And then the man said, but what if you don't come back? Can Michael Jackson come to Uganda and refuse to go back to America? You know, and he was, and the guy just said, okay, you can, and you know, he created this syllable. You go and ask, walk in the streets, ask Katolu Wama. They will tell you, I am going to London. London is going to benefit from me. And the guy just said, okay, come for your visit tomorrow. And that was Kato.
No, he was larger than life.
Yeah, he was larger than life. Only things just got, when he fell sick, he got a heart problem, then the cancer problem, yes. Yeah, but that's life. May his soul rest in peace. He was a nice guy.
He was a good guy, and I know that is quite the journey you had together, and that he pushed you in so many ways. So many things. Kato would do it. He would, Abe, there's something here. Yeah, let's go to WHO. My name is Katolo Wama. Tuze kuno nyamiri wana. Ono ye mugezi. Again, he would speak. And he would get these jokes. And that's the thing, he would disarm you with all the different things he's saying.
Then he would come, kati idea yange yeno, kati gojiteke mu luzungu. And he writes and then you put it in English and they say, fine. He knew how to write songs. With his bad voice, he would sing and say, but he would get his message across. He knew how to. Kato had people who he cared for that he didn't even know. He had around 10 to 15 students that he paid school fees for up to university. He was that type of person. If Kato got the money, he would spend it. He would spend it. You know, and like, he would come to you and say, Abe, njagala you send. And like, mpa mtwala atano. Then he would go out and give it to street guys and come back. Nzigabi, mpendala. And that was him.
So that was just him.
Yeah, that was his time.
When it comes to, I think, creativity right now, to you it's almost like breathing. What do you think is blocking so many people, so many young people in the world today?
Creativity, people lack direction. People look at the petty things in creativity.
Okay.
That's why I say they'll look at the bubblegum things that excite people for a day and it gets off scene. I did a play after I left school. It was called Order. I looked at it in a deeper meaning of a soldier. And I said, a soldier, these were statements in the play, being a soldier is a career like being a doctor or a teacher.
Yes.
But when this soldier goes out to work, he's not sure whether he's going to come back tomorrow. He has a family, he has a wife, he has kids. What do they think when dad goes to Somalia for a war? When I go out to act on stage, my wife knows, unless I get an accident, but I'll be back.
You're coming back?
But I mean, this guy going out to war. What does his child think? It was something I thought out of the blue, and we wrote a very nice play about it. But whatever I wrote in that play is happening now.
Is what you see?
Yes. It's happening now. The fortunes and misfortunes of a soldier, he goes to battle, this happens, and it's what is happening now. And when I did it then, I was privileged. By the way, Uchitiwa Noah Malanyanzi has been my patron for all the time.
All this time?
All the time, ever since I left school. Oh, but when I left school, I worked with him first. I was basically his marketing and driver, so we were selling batiks together. Don't laugh. Can I tell you somebody else we're doing it with? Brenda Nanyonjo.
Are you serious?
Yes. And another one, Ruth Wanyana. And the
You
three
have
of-
stories on stories
yeah,
on
and the
stories.
three of us were selling these batiks
Uh-huh.
at Nyanzi Art Studio, and so would go around with him. And there was a mural at the airport that we actually painted with him, and all I did was stand there and pass the brush until.
When you said I painted with him, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know. You know, I took Malaika to school. I took Malaika to school. I used to drive Malaika to school.
So the Malaika Nyanzi we see now, you knew her when she was a little
Oh yeah,
girl.
Malaika was a young girl. I used to drive her to school.
That's crazy.
And Malaika will always call me uncle. And that's the beauty of being brought up so well. She'll always kneel. I actually say, please don't kneel for me. I don't want it. I don't want it.
You don't like it?
I don't want it, but she will always say, uncle, I know what you did for me.
So speaking of your patron, are there any moments that have stood out for you?
Yes. Now, Ochiba Noah Malanyanzi was, just as the Kabakaship was being restored, he was the Minister of Internal Affairs and was in charge of the security of the Kabaka. So we used to have a car that we used to drive, a Toyota DX6282AK, I remember the number, and I was chauffeuring him. Then I got a moment in life that I will always live long to cherish. We used to visit the king in Kololo. And somehow Mr. Owichiwa Nwanyanzi used to take me through all the rituals of, if the king ever asks you ABCD, you do this. If ever asks you this, you do this. I didn't know he was preparing me for something big.
Okay.
So one day he says, drive that car and take it to Kololo. And I drove the car, took it to Kololo. As I was getting out, the guy says, sit. They search the car, they do the search, and the next thing, the king is seated in the car.
Oh my goodness.
Then everything comes back. This guy was preparing me for these moments. And just as he told me, is what I was asked. Then I drove him to his destination. I had to drive him back.
How were you? I'm sure on the outside you were calm, but on the
I was
inside.
dying. I was dying. I got this rare opportunity of having to do it again. So in my life, 2 times I chauffeured the Kabaka. I will always be grateful to Ochiwa Nwanyanzi. And you know, when I talked to him about it, he just laughed and said, yes, I was preparing you for that. But you know, he used to talk to me and say, you've got to do this. When the king, Kabaka does that, Kabaka does this. In my whole life, that is something I will always treasure. And he asked me, who are you? I said, my name is Abid, okay? He had told me what to say. I kindly ask that you permit me be your driver. That's the whole Uganda thing. 2 times. 2 times.
The
It
look
is
on your face is
something-
priceless.
And no, Crystal, you don't know what it means.
Yeah.
2 times. The next, when I got back, I looked at Ochiba Nyanzi, and he was just laughing at me because he knew.
Because you were like in a daze.
So he was actually talking to the soldiers all the time we were there, and he was asking, "Oyafana na tiakati?" Me. He's been my patron ever since. He actually named my company AfriTalent, and he drew that insignia for it.
So you were looking for a title?
Yeah. No, I named it Silver Petals, and they said, no. We need
Petals?
something. Yes. Then he
I'm
said,
sorry.
I
I'm
don't-
sure you had your reasons.
Oh yeah, young boy, you're looking at young girls, and then you look at silver. You look like a petal.
There it is.
Then he said, no. Let's look at African talent. And you're going to teach, so he drew a blackboard and said, that's your logo. That's the way we're going to do it. And with the Afri-talent, we cut with Afri-talent. And doing this play, he was there. The late Kasiri Gwanga came in. He trained the soldiers. Then out of somewhere, he brought in the Mugisha Muntu, the army commander then. And the army commander watched the play. By the way, that's another, if we ever have time, I'll give you that story. That was my biggest spring in theater. So I was basically, like hunting for money to do everything, even putting the show in place. Then the army, when he saw the play, The army booked the National Theatre for 2 weeks, Monday to Sunday, and they paid up front.
Wow.
I put 100,000 shillings in my pocket for the first time, my money. And I came abusing everybody in the taxi.
Well, at least we made money at some point.
Oh, Crystal, I felt good, man. I had 100,000 here. That's good. But hey, that's how we started. And that was the biggest spring for AfriTalent. Then the army gave us a contract for 6 months acting this play in the barracks. And that's how we went. That's how we went.
My goodness. So looking back, I mean, we're talking about the plays. I wanted to ask you how many plays you've written, but do you even know?
Many. 40, 45, 50 something plays. I've acted in over 100 plays.
Okay. And then, of course, you had to make the switch to movies.
Yes.
What was your first movie?
My first movie is called Fires of Hope. It's a video of the Uganda martyrs. A gentleman called Michael Waboyo Sr. and Charles Mulekwa invited me to do this movie in Namugongo. You ever get chance to look at Fires of Hope, you laugh at the character. A young boy.
When's the last time
That was the last.
you had a look at it?
I showed because UBC shows it every Martyrs Day. They do show it. It was sponsored by some Irish director, and that's the first movie I did, and they paid me, I don't remember, about 60,000 shillings, and I felt good. But after that, we did locals with Mariam and all. Then one day, Bat Valley, I get this call from a lady called Azeda. Azeda lives in Kigali. We were with her at university, and she used to act with Alex Mukulu. So she calls and says, there's some French guys here. There's a guy who's supposed to act for them, and he's not here. Naturally, I recommended you. They're going to call you. So she gets off the line, and these guys call. We want you to do part for us in Kigali. I said, okay. How much money you want? I didn't even know what to say. I remember saying something, $10,000. What? Per shoot per day? I said, per shoot. Then the guy says, okay.
You're like, why didn't I say per shoot?
Per shoot? I said, okay. We'll call you tomorrow. They called the next day. They said, we have a ticket for you. You're going to come tomorrow.
Did you believe it at that point?
No, I didn't. So I called Hope Azeda again. Hope said, waga ina sente ntono nnyo. Gonzi inadi tuwampa dedi what to do. So I'm on a flight to Kigali the next day. And we act. Now I come face to face with reality. I'm bringing my stage performance. Then they say, you're going to act with that guy. And who? Idris Elba. Looking at him only, I quaked. Idris Elba there.
So you did not know?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And I'm
And
like,
there is a huge difference between...
peak. I loved Idris for one. He's no pretender. You don't get it right, so he told the director, it's not good enough.
Whoa. In front of you?
Yes. My coach, I remember, some white guy, I don't remember his name. So he said, Abby, you don't allow that guy to intimidate you. You can do it. We went for a second take. Get somebody better.
Oh my goodness.
I spent the next, I think, 5 days rehearsing, day in, day out, day in, day out. And the director said, no, you're good. You'll do it.
Okay.
He said, you'll do it. So we got the first recording. Fortunately, there was this girl who does in Generations in Siki, Pamela Numvete. So she came in. She had been acting before. She's like, no, Abe. She actually worked with me all through those nights. You're going to do it. You can do it. You're a lovely guy. You've got the stature. You've got this, that.
I guess they could see.
Yeah,
They could
you
see
can do it.
Your confidence had been rocked.
Let's go. Don't allow him. So like Idris is a tall guy, and then they have to put a stool for you to stand up to him. So he took me in, and the first thing the director tells me when he says something, just say, come on, do your stuff. I know my stuff. Just do your lines and let's go. Give him to that.
Yes, give him attitude right back.
Give him an attitude right back. So we went on stage. I said, come on, guy, do your stuff. Guy looked at me like this. I said, yeah, man, we've got a shoot to do. I got to go back and do some stuff. That's the best. Guy started respecting me after that. You know, like we used to stay in the same hotel, but he used to drive his car without actually thinking about me. Because like when you go for these international movies, you're treated, you have a chauffeur, you have this caravan for you, you have a minder, you have, everything is first class. So like, we would live in the same hotel and then he would not. But funny, after that, he would say, Habi, come in. Now, you change a bit here. He was good. After that, he was good. He said, I just...
But you had to prove yourself. Right?
Yeah, he said...
You had to own it.
No, he told me, I use it to push a character like you are because I knew you'd be starstruck by meeting me. So some of these things, I do them to push you to get to there. And I'm happy you did it.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
on purpose. And we became very good friends.
But it's a reminder that, you keep learning, you keep
Yes,
growing, but you keep having moments that shake you.
Oh, shake you. He was shaking that. Now the next... So after that movie, we were in Kigali for the premiere, and then the director of Last King of Scotland saw me and signed me on there. Movies, it's one movie gets you into another. If you do it well, he actually signed me on there. So when we came here, there was a local crew, a recruiting crew here, casting agent I actually wanted to diss. But I had a contract from the other side. And now working with Forrest Whitaker.
Yes, we remember that role.
Forrest is different. He's a very withheld guy, very into himself. You really have to dig him out. But once you dig him out and he takes you in confidence, he's a lovely guy. So we had over a month with him at Kabira Club. That's where he used to stay. And we got together. Finally, we clicked. And then the worst came. I got hit by migraine. A migraine hit me during all those shoots for Last King of Scotland. I'd never experienced it.
Really?
Yes. I got hit by migraine every morning. And I actually had to act under sedatives for all the time we did Last King of Scotland. I had to be sedated to do it.
I don't think... I would not even be able to pick that up. Because I've watched that movie I don't know how many times.
Yeah. That one I had to.
Do you feel like you did your best?
Yes, I did. I did. So I had to get the best of whatever little time I had when the headache was not on. And fortunately, my director was like, Abby, how are you feeling? I'm better. Can we do it? I said, we can do it. So I sent the doctor in the morning. Yes, 6 o'clock. They give you the chi injection, you go. It was hard, but I did it, fortunately. Then after that one led me into another one called White Light that I did in South Africa, and then another one to Mass in the Jungle, many of them. It's one movie that moves into the other.
It's interesting. You give your all in a movie and then it launches into the next one.
Yeah, it does.
But despite that, you have continued to do local films, local productions,
yes, because,
and to do theatre.
Because theatre is what discovered me. And I can never abandon theatre. And wherever I go, I tell them I'm a student of theatre.
Do you feel like theatre gives you the most room to push yourself?
I express myself better. Only that, I'll tell you this, for all that I have done and acted, at times it cuts my slack when people recognize me for Kirunda in Sanyu.
That is the thing now.
For all that I have done in the theatre.
And that is what people are like,
yes.
oh, Sanyu.
And people go, I didn't know you act until I saw you in Sanyu. And I'm like, oh my God.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay, no. Who are these people? Don't know about that.
No, Crystal, I was doing a commercial for Centenary Bank This is what I tell you. I think it's an age generation, the gap that's evolving. We're doing a commercial for Centenary Bank with a 17-year-old guy in Tinder there. And then, like the audience was all crazy about Abby. And the producer said, Abby, you're going to have to tell them you'll talk to them later. And to convince those 100 what guys, border guys, but guy will see you later. Okay. Then I pushed them away. Then this young guy asks, who are you? I said, why? They're like, everybody knows you.
And he didn't know
But I
you.
don't know you.
Well, you said he was 17. We shall forgive him.
No, then I said, my name is Abim Chibi. What do you do? So not to be outdone, I said, Google my name. Google my name. Then the guy Googles and said, you are this guy. You are this guy. You do this. You do this. Last King of Scotland, I always thought this was a Nigerian. I said, why do you think this is a Nigerian? I said, I didn't know Ugandans can do this. I said, we've done more than that. That's funny.
More.
So I think it's the generation. Then the next day he comes back and says, my parents know you. That was the best. But he lives here. But what I discovered, we don't share the same spaces at all. So I didn't take offense.
Yes.
He's 17. We don't listen to the same radios. And he's a Muganda, by the way. He was a Sewa Good. That's what the benefit. But we don't listen to the same radios. We don't link in any way.
The generation gap is real.
It's real.
Real.
So, and there's no reason why he knows me. Two, I was not going to the spaces. Now that I've gone to the spaces where they are, that is Instagram, where they know me.
Now they know you.
Because that's their space.
True.
It's another reason I tell people about theater. When they say theater is dying, I say theater has not died. It's the people in theater who are not responding to the dynamics of the day to move to where the audience is.
Yes.
Because the people we acted for 20 years ago are either dead, either they barokore, or they went to London. They're not there. So the audience we created has virtually gone off. We have to create another audience, and their space is there.
So you need to find them where they are.
Yes.
And essentially that's what these mobile phones, these smartphones are. You find people where they are.
There. Because recently I went and then somebody came to me, are you Abim Chibi, the guy who went to 25 years ago, and said, yes, I'm the one. You remember me? My name is, we're in the same dorm, Fred Kako. I said, yes, I remember you. But if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't know
So
my
you've been
umbrella
able
still
to
exists.
touch base with all these people.
Yeah. So it's us going to those spaces where the dictates of the day are.
Isn't that
Now,
one of the most challenging things for someone who's been, I guess, doing this for 30 years? Because you must adapt, you must adjust, but many people get stuck.
you have to. You either do or you die. Because that's what works anyway.
Yeah.
That's the business. That's what we do. Employ somebody to do it if you can't do it, because we don't have the time. But I'll employ somebody to do it. Somebody to run my pages, somebody to do. They're there. And they love it because they are doing what they love.
What they love.
And you pay them for it. So it's us adjusting to the trends of the day. That's all. You either change or change changes you.
You have to. Absolutely. Because even when you look at the changing landscape, you're talking about theater and then film. And now the series, television series that you've been doing and how you're recognized for your role in Sanyu. I mean, that's about changing to according to whatever's coming your way.
Because that's there. You know, when Elena called me, I was still doing the traditional mind. And I said, well, we have a role for you. He said, let me think about it. But basically, I tried explaining to Elena, because the industry has its hiccups.
Yeah.
And some people think we've done enough movies. So at times, I'll tell you, a certain movie director came in here, and through, I forget her name. Some lady called me and said, no, we're going to do a movie like this and this and this. Please bring your to Royal Suites Hotel. I took it there. And then finally, when the movie ended, she's like, why didn't you bring your stuff?
Bring what stuff?
Your CV and all, your bio? I said, but I brought it. No. I said, I brought it and I gave it to so and so and so. So the director calls me to Sheraton and says, I'm so unhappy that you did not act in my movie. I said, but I brought my stuff and nobody got back to me. I said, no, you didn't. they told us we wouldn't do it. I said, who? Finally, I said, okay, it's okay. Maybe when you do another one, I'll come. So when Helena called me for Sanyo, and I was like, maybe it's the normal. Because, like, you go and sit for an audition and everybody will say, hey, Nae, Abe, are you also coming to audition? For you, you've done enough. So I rarely go for auditions unless somebody really sets a role and says, so Helena was like, we want you to do this role for us. I said, okay, I'll get back. Then she's like, are you coming or not coming? I liked Helena
Like,
for
let
that.
me know now.
So let me know. And I said, I'll let you know. The third call I got after the, we are going to do a photo shot on Mawanda Road. We expect you at 11.
Okay.
And then I'm like, at 11, she's like, where are you? I love Helena for that. Where are you? I said, Helena, Sebo, you're not going to make a whole movie set sit just because we are offering you this. Come. And reluctantly, I drove there. And she was waiting. We did the photo shoot. I said, Sebo, ujja kuzanya bintu bino. Ujja kubizanya. I said, Helena, how much money do you want? I said, Helena, tujja zikuwa. Okay. The next time she said, the script is there. We shoot the day after tomorrow. Come to Muziga, I will come to Mutungo. We're going to do this and this and this. Somebody's coming, take your measurement. That is Elena's style. And that's how
Pushes.
she goes. Oh, I loved her. And whenever we're there, I'd say, Elena, should I tell people how you brought me on set? And she says, hey, babuli.
But it's important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need someone to do that, to bring everyone together.
So when we were doing the rap in Ginger, she was like, Sebo, do you regret? I love the way she moved. But like you said, at times in life you need people who will push you and give you the best in life. Because Sanyo gave me a chance to interact with the young people. And I'll tell them this. For them to prosper in the industry, they've got to do two things. Be professional.
We're lacking that.
They're not professional. You can't make, I'll tell you, you can't make a set wait for 2 hours just because the character is not there.
Yeah.
Or because you've not got your lines. We were doing that movie in Kigali, and Pamela Numvete was late. We were supposed to shoot with her the next day at 8. Then she calls from South Africa at 7, seated next to the director, and she says, I missed my flight. The director says, hurry and get to Kigali today. But the director said, no way. We're going to, and they chartered the flight to get Pamela in. She actually came in at 2 at a cost of around $35,000 to get her in by 2, 3, 4, and we shot at 8 the next day. So when I asked the director, he told me one simple thing. Cast and crew, I'll spend 150,000 for cast and crew and everything. For that extra day that Pamela is not here, I'd rather spend 30,000 for it. So it was logical. So to the actors, I tell them, we lack the professional wit to do things. You want to do this stuff and get out of it a winner, professional.
And it's not always about the money.
No, I was coming in, I got late. I think I had to text you and say, I'm running late, but I'm coming. Somebody will not have the audacity to even say that.
And that's the most people think, I don't want to, when I get there, I'll get there.
No.
But communication is part of it.
Yes. It's being there, doing your stuff right, listening to the director. The director is right. I used to tell them, I'm older than Nawiso, but he was my director. I was older than Elena. Elena was giving me things to do, and I did it. My other AD was Hadija, a young girl. But they used to say, come in, sit down, listen to what the director says, and do your stuff. Get out. You saw what happened with recently when we were doing that show. Yes. For a professional, somebody to leave that set at that time. I mean, that's the whole gist about. It's about being professional. Yeah. And some of us will take these roles away from you because we know how to do this stuff.
Exactly. When people say, I think what you're talking about, people like, haven't you done enough movies? Yes. Sometimes they're like, but they keep using the same people. But what makes those people stand out? What makes them different?
Yeah.
And you go the extra mile.
Yes. You go this extra mile and do things differently. I mean, when I'm going to do a show and I need to get my lines, I stay up the whole night, read my lines. When I come in, it's at least...
And I keep hearing people saying, no, I'm only going to do just enough. I will not go over and above.
What is enough? What is enough? Me, I have this attitude in my mind, very selfish though. When I go out to do something, I do it. I have this, I'm here once, so I'll do it this once because I'm never going to have this once again. Me, when I do something, I'm not a spoke in a wheel. I am a wheel. I am the wheel itself. When I do something, it is selfish, but I make it hard for it to move without me. Okay. I always tell the people I work with, when you miss work and the boss says it doesn't notice, then you're relevant to the organization. Yes. Don't just boast and say, Sarkozy and the boss didn't notice. It means you are irrelevant to this organization.
That's a good point.
Yes, because in drama we have what we call a stock character. A stock character is somebody I'll put in a play just for convenience's sake. When I remove the play moves on and part up and the plot doesn't change. So avoid being a stock character in your life. I never. When I go in to do something, I do it real good, that if I'm not there, people will notice I'm not there.
Yeah.
That is a selfish attitude, but it gets work done well.
But it covers everything in life. If you are going to show up, make sure you do the best.
You do.
Make sure you absolutely do the best.
So it is.
But that takes me back again to your humility, because you've been in these Hollywood productions, you have done so many different things, but if someone calls you to do something that maybe is not the biggest job in the world, you're still going to come and apply yourself.
I've even done more. I've done local movies for free. I transport myself and come here because I need to promote the industry. I need to promote these young directors and actors to give them use, because I believe people can use my shoulders to spring. I was talking to my actors yesterday and I was telling them I got a new crop of actors now. And they said, I'm willing to go back to the basics of teaching you how to do these things because it's my duty. But use my shoulders, step on me and spring and fly. It's all about being human, being human. I mean, in the last 5 to 10 years, you've been very passionate about, number one, pushing young people into the arts spaces, but professionalizing the industry. Because if we don't do it, I don't see who I'm handing the baton to.
Yeah.
We need to create a legion of people that would hand this baton to move it. And it's a pity. I worry. I worry about the arts. Our times we had the schools doing it, they're no longer there. It's painful.
So you feel like people are not applying themselves like they would to any other career?
No, they're not.
They're just doing it.
Yeah, no, because people come to this career like, at times you set the standards yourself. Because before we used to have people used to come to theater and say, okay, why are you joining theater? Nah, I don't have anything to do, so I thought I would come here and
just try.
and spend time here. Now it's not about that.
Yes.
You are here. That's another thing that we've got to learn. Contract. These people are here. Contract them, pay them. Pay them and let them do what they're supposed to do. Pay them. Don't tell them about your losses. No. It's not their job. They've done their job.
Yeah.
You go and look for the money, invest it, put it in them, pay them. Then seek ways of how you recover your money. That's the business.
I remember you saying, not long ago, by the way, that most movie producers in Uganda have not made money.
No, they've not.
But without you, where would the industry be?
Yeah. It's about that. Pay them. Find a little they can and pay them. Then you go and market your movie and do. So for those who come and say, I want to call a movie and see, I'll come and do it. But definitely there are standards I will not lower. So I'll ask to look at the script, who's directing, look into it. Then we do it. At times people feel I'm bad, but
no, but you must also have standards.
They must maintain standards at a certain time. So that's it. That's the way we move. It's a crazy world, though.
You were saying recently that you can't do everything. Which is interesting because when someone thinks about you, they're like, but man, he's doing everything. But you were talking about, let's say, the film industry. You're saying you can't be the director and the actor and the sound person and all these things because these are spaces and roles and jobs. And we sometimes, just what you were saying, like if you're going to get into social media, get someone and pay them to do it. The opportunities are there in all these spaces. But somehow they're still not recognized quite the way they should be. What can we do to get there? I know you're doing your part, but what more can be done?
People have got to realize, like, I'm an actor. I'm not a writer. I will not write. However much I will have my ideas, but I have a guy who writes. So all I do, I sit down, then the guy will sit down and scribble everything and come out with a beautiful script. That is for them. Mariam is a writer. She will write everything nice. She's also a nice actor. Kato was a writer and an actor, but not a director. So, you'd know.
So Ashraf, you must know your strength.
Yeah, you must know your strength. Ashraf is a writer and not an actor. John is a stagecraft guy. Segawa, give him anything. He can turn this place into gold. With nothing, just standing with whatever. He's naturally endowed with that. But he might not be a writer. No. So when you realize your particular strengths, you dedicate your life there and perfection. And leave the others to do that. When you tend to write when you are not, then it kills the other two. It kills the other strengths. You are not a writer, so you write. Now it
takes away from what you're actually
It takes away from what you're acting because you write silly stuff and then you try to direct your silly stuff.
And it will get your confidence as well.
Yes. So stick to what you can do and leave the rest to the others. Movies have that. Everybody has a role they do. The director,
and everyone is important in the grand scheme of things.
Everything, artistically, everybody is important. Even the guy, everybody is important. So the role of the director is to stitch everything together. But the different roles must run. And
do you feel that applies to other areas in life?
Yes. You have to. You have to accept other areas in life. Where you feel you can't have your all, or you don't have the strength to do it, let somebody do it. At home, there's a master in my home. I don't control the home. My duty is to bring food to the home, make sure people at home are comfortable. The rest, I wait for them to tell me what to do because the home has a director.
It's also quite convenient.
The home.
It frees you to go and apply yourself elsewhere.
The home has a director, and so I let the director tell me the movie script, and now she wants me to do things. That is all. It might seem funny for guys to say, but that's her space. Let her have her space. So when I go back home and I say, now why has my chair shifted there? I want it there. The director said she wants it there, so I'll accept it. It gives you, just have your peace of mind.
By the way, your battles.
Yes, you choose your battles and learn to enjoy what you have. Once people learn that, enjoy it. But the minute you start getting nostalgic about things, I didn't like that, then you get a problem. That is her space.
Enjoy what you have.
Yes. My young girl these days finds a problem with me just barging into her door. And I respect that. So, Dad, don't come into my bedroom like that. I said, okay, Nyago, I respect you.
There's some parents who take that door off the hinges.
Why?
Which door? Whose door?
No, respect her privacy. It's her privacy. Because she's a big girl now. You've got to respect her. Don't just barge into a room like we used to do. And like she says, when I come to your room these days, I don't barge in like the young girl I was. I knock. So respect, and we agree. So in life, you choose your battles, like you said. Choose your battles and all.
How are you as a dad?
I'm a very strict dad.
You are strict dad?
Very strict dad. I'm an African parent who doesn't spare the rod.
Okay.
No, I don't. Because these young guys, unless we give them direction, they are so open to so many options that will ruin their lives. I tell my daughter, I'm the best man you'll ever see. If you want a boyfriend, I'm here. If you want a father, I'm here. Me, talk to me before you talk to anybody else about anything. My young boy, he knows. He knows how serious Dad wants to be and how I want him to pursue and excel. He knows standards. He knows the standards because I don't want people, even my position pushes me to things like this. Yes, you have done it. What have you done? You spent so much time doing this and you forgot this. So I try to cover those spaces and I create time for the family at all costs. At all costs.
How do you do that?
It is hard. It is very hard. And public, I always acknowledge the presence and the life my partner, my wife gives me, because you need to have an understanding wife with the type of work we do. Very understanding, very accommodative, willing to take in and hold so much for you, for the young ones, for the family. At times when you are away doing those movies, it takes months. You are away in South Africa, you are away in Morocco, you are not here. She will hold the fort. She will hold the fort for you. Even when the young ones complain about you, she will say something to protect you, positive about you. And that's the best part of what our wives do. Standing in for you and giving these children confidence and maintaining what you want to be done in them. Religion. Parents have abandoned these religious things with children. You must. I'm a Muslim, and so they follow a strict Muslim schedule, including having sheikhs coming down to teach them and tell them everything. It's strict. They know. Prayer.
You know, you were talking about we must go where the people are. We must adjust social media. And I'm sure you've been following, when you have a chance, the conversations on social media. And a lot of the conversations I'm seeing, as someone who's been in this industry also for quite a while, is the broken parenting. So much around that. And then also the broken relationship space.
We have a lot of egos. And unless we break down these egos in marriages, we're going to have broken marriages, broken children and everything, broken society. Because our egos, you're not willing to bend down, you bend. For the sake of your family, for the sake of whatever, you bend. And then the rest is for us as fathers to know that our children and our families can only be what we are. What we give out is what they'll churn out to.
Ooh, there are many men who won't want to hear that.
No.
Like, do as I say.
No.
Not as I do.
What we give out is what these children will follow and do.
But that applies to moms too, huh?
Yes, moms too. So, mom and I, as husbands and our wives, we take full responsibility for our homes and for what our children will be. It's business of thinking, I'll tell the children this, I'll tell the... No. It's bad for us. Two, sitting and deciding on issues, or at least communicating and telling your partner what you have decided is something. Don't just say, that's as they all went. No. Tell your partner what things are and then engage. Engagement has been vital. I don't know. I like engaging. I like engaging people. When I engage, it normally works. I might have a decision of my own. But when I engage you, integrate mind you, and when I know your mind, I'll find a way of fitting your idea into my mind. Then we move on.
I thought you were going to say you were willing to be flexible.
That one's also. No, I said where I have a decision.
Make sure where can you meet so everyone is winning.
Yes, I always tell my wife we've got to find an equilibrium. I call it equilibrium. We've got to find everything. You must have a point where you meet and agree on something. It's vital. Even the children, even what? But they're very strict now, man. I'm very strict with my children. Very. Because I fear, let me tell you my fear, failing as a parent. It's my greatest fear, failing as a parent. Because my parents never failed. They did everything and ensured I am what I am. Why should I fail on my children?
Speaking of religion, you were saying that your life has changed ever since you became a Hajj. There's so many things, aspects.
First of all,
but I'm sure change for the better.
Yes, I'm grateful to Allah for having managed to do one of the last pillars in my religion, doing Hajj. It's not a joke. It was after Hajj that I find it very disrespectful to call a guy with a fat tummy at a butcher Hajji without him having gone to Mecca. No way. You must go there and experience it. It is a tough.
Because people take it lightly, they don't understand it.
It's tough. Very tough. And I advise for those who can, while they still have the energy, do it while you still can. Because when you go into the later stages of life, it is a tough thing, very tough. I'm told my brother was there this year. He says things have become a bit easier. Like there's a time you trek for 16 kilometers under a tunnel. Under a tunnel for 16 kilometers from Muna to Mecca. Wow. That's when you're completing your Hajj. And you're doing that in reservations of Subhana, of Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when he trekked. So you've trekked the same journey. It's tough. Crystal, all I can say is Hijjah is tough. It's not a joking subject, no. You go there and after undergoing all the rituals and whatever, it changes your life. One stark truth that you get there, you're more than 4 million people praying to Allah. God doesn't need you. It's you who needs him. Because he has so many people praying to him who reach out to him. It's up to you to pray. If you don't, he has so many to listen to. That was the most humbling. The second one was a place called Muzdalfa. You know, it's like you're in desert and you're supposed to spend the night there. Rocks, stones. Just as about you ask the Sheikh, he's shaking, then he says, that's the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, that's the Prime Minister of Lebanon, that is the President of Malaysia. They're all lying down. So who are you? Abe Mukiibi. I mean, that is the most humbling. Everybody, without even bodyguards. The President was the Grand Mufti of South Africa. This one is all presidents, prime ministers, they're all lying down. And you say, Katinzan. That's the most, it humbles you. It brings you out down here.
Yeah.
Then people die. Like this recent one, over 1,300 people died. For every prayer that you do, you pray for the dead and you just see bodies being rolled out. And then you say, who am I? I'm still alive. You have reasons to thank you, God, all the time. And they just roll out bodies being buried. And you know, in Mecca it is, well, they take you, bury you, they come back, another one falls, they take you, they bury you, and life moves on.
My goodness.
I always have this notion of people who said a driver who dies and then the company says this guy is irreplaceable. When the guy was driving and actually brought stuff for his burial. Then you say he's replaceable.
That is the truth.
It's life. It's life.
This has me thinking about, earlier you said you must have direction. You must have direction. And this religion for you is definitely one of the things that has given you direction. Otherwise, there's so many influences in this life.
Religion shapes you. It does. Because at times you say, what would people think about me if I did this? If I did this, no, I can't. Like I said, there are spaces I can no longer go to because I am what I am. Before that, I was a fly higher. I was a club rookie, club hopper. Saturdays I would hop from one club to another. I used to hop clubs, but now I can't. Yes. I can't. But definitely I would go out.
Would you say you're in a different season in your life now?
Yes. The minute you hit 50 plus, you start getting to the other side of life, honestly. You start thinking of so much because you are lucky to be 55. and you start looking at life differently, honestly. Definitely the Abbey in you is still there, but you start honestly thinking about those dark realities of life. What if, what if, what if? I was talking to two of my very good friends. There are two friends I met in senior one in Makerere College School. One is an accountant, another is a lawyer.
Oh my goodness.
And we've been friends, but we haven't heard from each other. So I call all of them and we hook up this morning as I'm driving. I say, hey, Francis, hi, Grace. It's been so long. And you know, I've had this year to talk to them for the last 2 weeks, but I've been so busy. I said, no, I need to talk to you just in case Allah strikes me and we haven't heard from each other. They all laughed. You know, you start thinking about things like that. Yeah, those are the dark realities of life that start coming up.
And then you also start to think about legacy.
Yes, legacy is one thing. What will people actually think? What have I done? Right now, as I wind up my radio work, is that the legacy.
28 years.
28 years.
My goodness.
28 years with CBS. You start looking at those, like I said, legacy. You need to start the succession. You need to have the young guys coming in.
You need to pass it on.
Yes, you need to pass it on. You need to pass it on. Because if we don't, we are actually doing the industry a disservice. We need to pass it on. So we've got trained, we've got people you bring in. But you know, talent is something different. It's not applicable to everybody. And
that's why I was asking earlier about creativity. I feel like there's certain things in our environment that allow people also to tap into a level of creativity.
Yeah, creativity. But the environment these days is good for creativity, a lot.
So you feel like, actually, you know what? Just spend a day on social media.
It's a lot. People just don't want to use everything, social media, surroundings, everything.
Use whatever you have.
So a lot. Just use whatever. It's your power of imagination. It's your power of creativity that gets you into things these days. Because there's a lot. Talk about traffic and this jam. That's content that you can talk about. Talk about relationships. A lot is going on. Go to social media. There's a lot going on. The politics of the country. A lot. The politics in Kenya.
You cannot fail to find.
You can't fail how to do it.
But you see what I mean when I'm talking about you. It's for you now. It's like breathing.
Yes. It's how you tap into it and turn it into the local setting where it must become integral for people to understand and relate with it. It's easy. It's people, they're just not giving themselves time to create, think, create, and put it on the table. I have this funny thing I always tell. I do internship for students. But what amazes me, for all the time I do internship with these young ones, and I tell them, I wake up at 4 every day. I've done that for the last 20 plus years. I'm in the office by 5.
Every day?
Every day.
Wait, Sunday?
Every day. No, except Saturday and Sunday. Monday, Friday, I'm in the office by 5. But every time I tell my interns, they all have the same response. That's what amazes me. All, as it's chorused. It's like they pass it on. Mzee ngoi na kamiro. Ofachi. That amazes me. And I tell them, Mfachi, because if I don't get here by 5, I will not give my audience the show that they deserve to listen to. I prepare, because I already prepared the show for tomorrow, but I must come in early and set it and put in those missing pieces for the day, and also look at, because people love listening to things they relate to, things that revolve around their lives, and things of the day. Always be current. Talk about the Dutch Prime Minister leaving office after 14 years riding a bicycle. I mean, there's so much you can talk about it. The British elections. I mean, things went on, government change in hours without anything pompous. Nothing.
We can't even imagine.
No, Saturday was another, Friday was another government. Some Mondays another government.
Yeah.
Everything changed. Seamlessly, yes. There's a lot you can play with regards the elections here. What goes on?
But like you said, everything, and I think that is the mark of the greats, I have to say. The greats is to use anything but relate it True, what's on the ground.
And you got it. Because the minute you talk about the UK, not many people will understand what's so different. But then once you relate it to the elections in Uganda, elections done, Yaz, Popas, Kololo, Masaka is celebrating, what is celebrating? I mean, in Britain, nothing. We had a different government on Friday, Monday's a different one. Moving on. The Rwanda deal was cancelled with Britain there and then, Chawe Day, and life moves on. You play around all this. When I was doing the morning show, I remember Sematimba asked me, what are you going to give in the morning show? That is, you said, sports. I said, sports, yeah, but sports is all over. He said, we are going to give you crazy sports. And he said, what is crazy sports? We are going to give you political sport. We are going to give you sport. We are going to give you culture sport. We're just going to make it stupid slow. And that's it. When I go out in the morning, my job is to make people happy. So I am paid to think stupid. I am paid to think stupid to make people smile in the morning, because people go to bed and wake up with their problems. They woke up to an uncertain day. They don't know what they're going to do. I give them a cause to smile. That is all. And somebody starts the day with that smile. And I've done that, I must say.
That's
Thank my Lord.
gift.
Yeah. And that's what I'm supposed to do, make people smile. And so I'll crack as many jokes. At least you'll take one or two and smile and say, at least you'll say, that guy is stupid. At least that. But it will give you a start for the day. And so that's all. I'm paid to, and I enjoy it with Abu saying it, I'm paid to think stupid.
Imagine that.
When I start thinking right, then I should not be paid.
Because I find that, you know, as a comedian as well, most people think that comedians are just so silly. But they don't understand, to be a good comedian, you must take yourself so seriously. You must take that responsibility you've given to make someone's day better, to make them laugh, to make them smile. So serious.
It's not a matter of going into theater thinking everybody's going to smile. No, look at your audience. How old are they? What relates to them? How am I going to make them laugh? Are they married? Are they not married? Is it 40 plus? Is it 18 to 35? What is the audience? What is the demography of the whole situation? The minute you get in, take that into account. No, I'm going to La Bonita. This is I'm going to La Bonita, yes. These are people who are A, B, C, D. They do this. This is an A class, this B class. This is the type of jokes I must go. That's, remember we were talking about the DFCU. This is an elite A class.
Yes, yes.
It's not an audience. It's not about going there to crack jokes, laugh, smile, shout. No, that's not the audience.
Yes.
Because anything that excites them, they look at you.
They will smile.
They'll smile.
But
they're not the type who shout. Then when you go to Bat Valley, you go, you shout, you jump. That's it. That's what they want. So it's a matter of understanding your audience and giving them what they want. The audience will always relate to you if you do integral stuff that easily reels into their mind, and they say, hey. I'll give you an example. I was doing a radio show. Now, like, you know, you've done this.
yeah.
Now, no, I was used to do a radio show called Love to Love Belt. Counseling and that. Then I get to my producer who was not there, and the letters were not there. So I crafted a letter of my own. Says a guy, he has a brother who is in university. Then he buys a car for the lady. Then the lady prefers to move with his in-law a lot. Finally, the in-law rapes the lady. The lady reports to the police. The guy is imprisoned. Then the husband's family comes and says, either release him or you get out of the home. So I just wrote some letter of my own, and I read it on radio. After around 5 calls, somebody calls, hey, Abbe, babati wacho Eva wayogede katukubulira amazima. And I'm like, Eva Yogolaba, then he gives me a story of a story that I wrote without even talking. That's the power of creativity. Eva Yogolaba, yabera none, yatambula bwati, ayambala bwati, mwanyina ferita mwaga, namwesibako. Then after saying, hey, bwaba bwati John bwakoze fe katukubulire. Then finally I said, okay, Eva sigalako, John sigalako. I started engaging them. They started trading accusations with each other over something that I just created myself.
And that's the ability to get people so invested. It becomes their reality right
and
there.
And people just argued and what about. Then I'm saying, because no. I just later on when I called one of the families, I told them, this was my own. You're not even involved. I wrote a play later called Eninga Kurwazi. It was sponsored by Ministry of the Population Secretary, and we went around and did it alone because it was about raping women. And you know, the funny thing was that the reaction from listeners was that, why did the woman report when she was raped? If you want marriage, some things you keep quiet. That was the worst for me.
Oh my
goodness. That was the worst for me. So we actually pushed it on and did it as a topic. And I've
because you realized that was something that very powerful in society.
Yeah. So it's the power of creativity and doing things that people relate to. I call it integral. When people relate to things, they get it. And that's how that show has survived in the morning, because I talk about things that they go through. One day I was talking, because I talked and said, now you are giving yourself silent treatment. You remember when you first went to this car girl and told her you love her? Now you are in this car, you are not talking for 3 weeks.
One is looking this way.
One is looking the other side. One is looking, when you drive, just look at the other and say, I am sorry, and apologize.
And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. An hour later, Honorable James Chinobe walks in with his wife. That's been the most humbling for me. And he says, you've just broken a silent treatment between us. And we realized it was the power of saying sorry. I said, what? And the wife said, I could not stand apologizing to you. You could not stand apologizing to me. And when you said we were both in the car, we looked at each other and said, sorry. And life moved on. Abe, will you be our master of ceremony at our wedding? I said yes, and I was. The wedding was at Kololo. And Honorable James Chinove stood and said, that guy is not here by accident, but his talk on radio, actually we had a Rusirika and we were on the verge of a breakup as a family. But when we looked at each other and the guy said, but yeah, look at her eyes. Why are you hurting her? And I was on radio speaking these things in the morning. And why are you hurting her? Now it's not a maso go. Why are you so hostile? Yes, he made a mistake, whatever it is. Can't you say sorry? Forgive him? Look here, hug each other and say sorry. Park by the side. And the guy said, he walks into and said, guy, you've just done this. Please, can you be our MC at our wedding? And I was.
Oh my God.
And you know, the flowers you feel looking at them, and the lady says the same things, the compliments about you, you feel good.
No, that's
you feel
beautiful.
good. Feel good.
I love that you were saying you have to remain relevant. You have to. I saw a video you posted, I think, like a week ago. I was so amused. You're working out. Working out very seriously in the gym. Is this a new thing? Have you always worked out?
I've always worked out.
Really?
I work out.
Because you get up at 4 a.m. So when do you find that time?
No, I work out every Saturday and Sunday, 6 to 8 every day. Every Wednesday, I brisk walk 16 kilometers. And that's 3 times a week I work out.
My goodness.
You have to.
I know you have to. Most people know they have to, but they don't.
You have to. You have to. It eases a lot. You so take control of your body.
Okay. Does it also help you deal with all the stress?
Yeah, the stress, pump it out. And but me, you control your body. You have it.
Okay.
You do what you want with it. No knee pains, nothing. You have your body back.
Okay.
So I work out a lot and I love it.
Okay. Well, I know I have to let you go.
Oh, yeah.
This was so lovely. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you too, Crystal. I really do interviews, and but I couldn't say no when you said.
I am humble.
That's why you don't see me on people's spaces. What I don't, because people change interviews and only pluck out what they want for their personal.
Thank you.
And they change it.
And it's terrible.
And it changes the whole thing. So I don't do interviews. And I know this interview is going to cost me a lot of friends who have asked me for interviews and have said no.
Are you sure?
But I'm okay.
But thank
At least
you so
I know.
much.
Welcome. Thank you too for inviting me. And yeah.
This has been a gift to me, to all of us. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you too. Thank you for inviting me. I hope I've shared and
oh, there's so much to learn. I feel like I need to write things down.
Yeah, I'm writing a book.
I'm
writing a book. Abby, my life is funny.
Oh, I Can't wait for that.
It's fun. I'm writing a book. So that's it.
So we can look forward to that.
Yeah, soon. It will be. Got held up a bit, but I know it's coming out in the next 1-2 years. It will be out, if God willing.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to that. And
Well,
thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. Nice being your guest. And nice, I'll leave that.